Hi, my name is Jamie Lee, and I'm going to share with you my story. I have gotten, throughout this whole experience with dealing with this disease, I have had people, ask me to share my story with other people that have this disease as well. And I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. And I knew that when God told me that, it's your turn, then I would do it. And last night, I got told, it's your turn. So here's my story. So, and out of my story, I hope that I can give somebody else, confidence or to fulfill their dreams, like I have been able to. So it was December of 2011, 2012. So first off, I guess I should start off by saying right now I'm 29, and I have, my son is 8. And at the time, I was a preschool teacher. I worked in the twos, which are 2-year-olds. And I worked, crazy hours. And, my son got to go to school, which I loved. And I got really, really sick. I was having, for a year, I went into, in and out of the doctors. And, they kept on asking, I kept on having different signs. And one of the signs was I was passing some blood, and when I went in, they told me that wasn't an issue. And that was, it was 2012, and it was April of 2012. And I went in, and December of 2012, I was in excruciating pain, and I couldn't stand up. I was hunched over the whole time. The doctor, she told me, well, I'm going to give you a medical or a doctor's release, so doctor's note not to go back to work, because she knew that I was in excruciating pain. And I'm a fighter. I can get through it. I will do it. I will do everything I can possibly do. And she was like, okay, whatever you say. And so in that time frame, I was in and out for 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I would go to the ER. I'd go to urgent care, and I did that for about 2 months. And I didn't work. I couldn't take care of my son. I laid in bed and had fevers. And one morning, my stomach was huge. I wasn't eating. I was sick. I was really, really sick, but no one knew what was wrong with me. And one morning, I woke up, and I just didn't feel good. I just woke up at in the middle of the night, and my stomach just hurt, and I just felt sick. This was the time that I was just felt gross. And I had my sister, she came in, and we tested we had a pressure cuff, and she tested my, blood pressure, whatever. And we didn't know what all the numbers meant, and we called my dad, and he was like, oh my gosh, something's wrong. So we got rushed to the ER. We rushed to the ER, and they tested me for H1N1. So I got H1N1 and admitted to our hospital for 3 days. And in that time frame, I was sick. My stomach was huge, and they still don't know what's wrong. They did a partial colonoscopy, and the Crohn's had they didn't diagnose me with Crohn's, of course, but they told me that my Crohn's had eaten my colon. It was completely gone. It was just hamburger pretty much. So I actually got flown from Bend, Oregon to OHSU, which is in Portland, Oregon, and it's about 2.5 hours away from us. So I got flown over there immediately, pretty much after, and my surgery was about 4 hours, and I was admitted to to ICU for 7 days, and then I was in a regular hospital room for another 7 or 8 days, and with all of that, it was a struggle, like, not seeing your, your child and dealing with all this stuff. And, my dad was with me, my mom came and saw me. I mean, my support system was amazing. Like, it is really, I still have an awesome support system. So so when I was in there, they removed my whole colon, and I had an ostomy, and I guess the ostomy honestly didn't bother me. The ostomy didn't bother me because I knew that, I didn't have any choice. I was alive at the end of the day. And that's all I could pray about. That's all I was like, okay, and that the thought process when I'm still, I wasn't sick anymore, I guess, because I didn't, all the disease and everything was in control. And I just thought about, okay, like, I'm sitting in the hospital bed, like, what do I want? What do I want my future? What do I want for my son? Like, what do I want? And I just wrote down goals of, like, different things I wanted. And that really helped mentally not think about the negative. It also it helped me think about the positive, which at that point in time you need. A lot of people migrate towards everything being negative. Why me? Why this? Why did God do this? Like, and it's like, God has a plan, and one, he gives you what you can handle. Which, even though, yeah, it's hard, but at the same time, he also, like, he gives you what you can handle, but at the same time, he also, how do you, like, word it? There's not a time frame. Like, I've heard, it's, if you make a plan, God's laughing because you don't know what the plan is. He might not give you a time frame. He might say, here's what it is, I've kind of put this on your plate, you kind of got to deal with it, but you don't know where you're going, and it's really hard to take. Like, I am an analyzer to no end. You can ask anybody in my family, and I had no clue. I literally was like, well, I'm here, and it was hard. It was really hard. So I just stuck with the positive of, things I wanted to accomplish in my life and things that I wanted to do, and so I just went the positive. So I came back after spending all that time at OHSU. I came home and I went home with pneumonia because when I was in ICU, they had given me fluids too fast or too soon, I guess, and I had thrown them up, so it went into my lungs. So I, had to deal with that for a month, 2 weeks. And then I went up to OHSU for a checkup with my surgeon, and he told me that I can get a reversal. And I was, okay, that's what he says, that's what we're doing, I was very, very excited, because at that point in time, like, it kind of kicks in of, like, now your life is changing, and now it's barely get used to, now you have, you have an ostomy and you're trying to figure that out, and then I'm trying to get off the pain meds and all of that, and then you go to, you go there and it's like, okay, now you have to, now you're trying to figure out how to live again without one. So, there was a lot of different emotions, a lot of different changes, and there was a lot of crying. And luckily, my family, was like, okay, put you on steroids, you're going to cry even more. So there was a lot of changes, and we just take it day by day. We take it minute by minute. And, so after that, I started working. Like, I recovered from my second surgery, I think 2 or 3 months. For like 2 or 3 months, and then I started working part-time in a preschool, and I always have to be doing something like that. Being, my background is I love being a preschool teacher. I love being around kids. I love that interaction. Like, you want to, being positive and stuff like that. Kids are always positive, like, find something you're passionate about, and you go get around kids and you're just like, oh, not everybody thinks that. I understand there's pros and cons to it. But I started working, so literally I started working. After that, I bought a business. I bought a preschool. And with that, it was last year, things started getting rough. When we had bought the business, I had bought a business with a business partner. And some of you are probably like, I have no clue what that means. And some people are like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And with that came with stress. It came with a bunch of other things that I ended up, because everything was in my name, that I had to deal with. And I learned a lot from it. Before all the business and stuff like that, I mean, I guess I would say that I was too nice, that I guess I would be called a pushover to adults. I could handle kids, but adults, I was just too nice. You think that everybody's, got good intentions, but at the end of the day, it's not true. Not everybody's like that, but at the same time, you have to take care of yourself. Like, you have to think about yourself at the end of the day. Are these choices, or these decisions, are they going to affect me in a positive way or a negative way? Are these people that I want in my life that are going to distract me from something I dream about or I want to be or do, or my family, or are they not? And I thought it would be positive. We had we both had the same, had the same dreams. We wanted the same things. And so we went into business, and they slowly but surely over a year just rolled out, rolled down the hill, and it was in a negative way. And when it comes to Crohn's, it's really, stress has a big factor on it. So I found out that one of my GIs took me off of one of the methotrexate. And so for a year, I have been battling this disease with no treatment. And it's been rough. So it's been a year as of the beginning of August. And so we took off the methotrexate, and from going off of that, and we were moving out of our house from the preschool we were at because they were selling it, and I was stressed out to no end. And it's luckily I'm glad that I have a job that I really, really love and I enjoy. So we found a place that I can do the preschool in my home. So the days that I can't, in a year from August, I guess, till February, I just kind of I had the disease. It was there. I struggled each day to get out of bed. I struggled to, eat. I struggled to do all these different things, but I did it, and I still did it. And it started getting really bad in February. And the pain got really bad. We did a colonoscopy, and there was inflammation. But my GI locally said that there was inflammation. There's inflammation. Well, that's great. What do we do now? I need treatment. I need a life. I need to function. I can't, literally lay in bed. And I didn't even lay in bed because that wasn't my job. My job was literally working 12 to 13 hours a day. I couldn't, it wasn't even an option. Monday through Friday. And I actually enjoyed it. I'm blessed that I could do that because I still have to feed my family. I still have to take care of my son and stuff like that, and so when it was in February, March, somewhere around there, the pain got so bad that I was in the ER, constantly, back and forth, or, it is what it does. It's actually attacking the connection that is between when I got it, reversed. So it's attacking that connection, and I couldn't function. I was, it was extremely painful. Extremely painful. And it's been a battle, between the doctors and all of that, and trying to figure out what's wrong, and and we now found a GI that actually cares, and you have to be an advocate for yourself. If there's a GI out there that just tells you no, like mine did, we went somewhere else. We'll get a second opinion. There's not one GI out there. There's several. We have to drive to OHSU, which is 3 hours away, for a GI to care. And if I would have, I guess I gave him too much credit. My local GI gave him too much credit. I trusted too much in him. I gave him too much. I trusted him, like you do. It's your GI. And if I look back at it now, I would have just jumped ship and been like, I need a second opinion. But, at that point in time, there was so much going on that, I stuck with him. I had faith in him. And now I'm an advocate. Now I'm like, I need a second opinion. So we went up to OHSU, and my GI is amazing. if I need something, she's right there. Like if she calls me back the